Wow, this past week in AI has just been crazy.
It really has.
Like March 17th to the 23rd, 2025.
Yeah.
It's been explosive.
Huge.
So many major announcements, like every single day, it seems like.
Yeah, and,
Impacting everything.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the chips that actually make the AI work to the policies that are going to shape its
Yeah.
future. So
Wild times.
wild times. Welcome to the AI Funnel by Konstantina Giannopoulou.
I'm excited to be here.
We are going to deep dive today into all this craziness
We have to.
and make sense of it.
There's so much going on.
So this deep dive is going to focus on all the big AI developments from that week.
So we've got corporate announcements, consumer tech, robotics, weather prediction.
And policy. We're going to try to hit all the highlights.
We're going to give you a clear, concise understanding of what really matters.
Cutting through all the hype.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
A lot of hype.
But we're just going to give you the facts.
We're going to get straight to it. So one of the biggest things that happened last week was
Nvidia.
Nvidia GTC conference.
Right.
And they unveiled these new
Blackwell Ultra.
Ultra AI chips. And these things are making some serious waves.
They are.
What can you tell us about them? Like, what are these next generation powerhouses all about?
Well, these chips are specifically engineered for the most demanding AI applications that we're seeing right now.
Wow.
And the ones that are coming up on the horizon.
Okay, so what does that even mean, the most demand?
Yeah, think of training these cutting edge AI models
Okay.
and running these incredibly complex simulations.
Right.
The amount of computational power you need for that is immense.
Wow.
And this new architecture is specifically designed to be able to handle that.
Right. It's almost like
It's like a super brain.
it's like we're asking more and more of AI.
Absolutely.
And
So we need the hardware to catch up.
yeah, the hardware has to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the Blackwell Ultra chips, but then they also
The Vera Rubin platform.
the Vera Rubin, right? The AI super chip platform.
Yes.
And that one's coming out
Late 2026.
late 2026, so a little ways on.
A ways away, yeah.
But I think what's really cool about this platform
Yeah.
is it's not just about raw power.
Right.
It's about overcoming.
It's about efficiency.
Yeah, like a bottleneck.
That's a good way to put it.
Right. So what's the key innovation there?
Yeah. You think about these large-scale AI systems, right?
Yeah.
There's a potential problem with the speed at which data can be moved between all the different chips.
Oh.
You can imagine it's kind of like
That makes sense.
trying to fill a stadium through a single doorway.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of data transfer limitation that can slow down these massive AI models.
Right. So if you get all this power, but you can't get the data.
You got to be able to move that data around.
Yeah.
Quick.
Quick.
Right.
All right.
So the Vera Rubin platform, what it wants to do is create multiple high-speed pathways for the data. So it's kind of like instead of having one doorway, you have 100 doorways.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can really accelerate that processing in those complex systems.
Wow. It's like we're building a super highway for the information.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So it's exciting stuff.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
So that's like the hardware side, the chips,
Right.
but then seeing these hardware advancements, how they actually get applied in the real world is
That's the real interesting part, right?
that's where it gets really interesting.
How does this affect people?
Yeah. So I think Nvidia partnering with General Motors, that seems to be like
A prime example.
a prime example. So what's going on there? What's the scope of this collaboration?
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
GM isn't just slapping some AI in their dashboards and calling it a day.
Right.
They want to integrate these custom AI systems
Wow.
across their entire operation.
So that's like the cars themselves.
In the vehicles, yeah. So you have your advanced driver assistance,
Right.
but also in their factories
Oh.
to optimize their manufacturing processes.
To make them more efficient?
More efficient, yeah.
Okay.
And even in their robotics initiatives.
Really?
Yeah, to create more intelligent and efficient automation
On the assembly line.
on the assembly line, exactly.
Wow.
So it's pretty broad. They really want to use AI.
That's a huge investment then.
Huge investment.
Wow.
And shows how important they think it is.
Okay, so moving from Nvidia
To Tencent.
to another tech giant, right?
Yeah.
Tencent.
Yeah.
They're also making a pretty big statement about how committed they are to AI.
Absolutely.
What are they up to?
So they've said that their capital expenditure for this year
Mm-hmm.
it's going to go up a lot.
Okay.
And a lot of that is going to go to AI.
Right.
They want to bolster their AI development efforts.
Okay.
And all of the infrastructure that you need to support that.
The servers, everything.
Everything, yeah.
Okay.
And, that kind of investment really underscores how competitive this global AI space is.
It's like an arms race.
Yeah. Everyone is trying to
get ahead.
Yeah. And they recognize that.
And it's only going to get more competitive.
It is. And that's why they're investing so heavily now.
Right.
To try and,
yeah, build the future.
Build the future, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about chips. We've talked about huge corporate investments.
Right.
But what about the consumer space?
Right.
What about, like, everyday people? So
Let's talk about Siri.
Apple's Siri, yeah, seems like their plans for a new
AI-enhanced Siri.
AI-enhanced Siri, they've hit a bit of a snag.
Yeah, a few bumps in the road.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, Robbie Walker, who,
he's the head of the Siri team.
heads the Siri team at Apple.
Right.
He's openly admitted
Yeah.
that there have been some delays and bugs
Okay.
in developing this new AI-powered version.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is fascinating to me because
Yeah.
you would think that with a company like Apple,
Right. With all their resources.
yeah, with all their resources, they'd be able to just be like, bam, new AI.
You had to snap their fingers.
Yeah.
But it turns out
It's not that simple.
it's really not.
And it shows you the complexity of this.
Absolutely.
Like, even if you want to just upgrade Siri
Yeah.
and give her like the latest AI tech,
It's hard.
it's not that simple.
It's not a flip of a switch.
Yeah.
You need like really complex engineering and rigorous testing.
Yeah, you can't just release something buggy to all the millions of iPhone users.
Right, exactly.
Right, and that's why
And that testing takes time,
it takes time, and that's why they've had to postpone the release.
sadly. Yeah.
Okay, so Apple is struggling a bit with Siri, but Google's DeepMind,
Yeah,
they're taking a different approach,
they are.
and they're really focusing on this.
The intersection of AI and robotics.
Yeah, this is fascinating to me. Tell me more.
Yeah, so they're not just trying to build like better robot bodies.
Oh.
They want to make them smarter.
Right, I mean, the hardware is obviously important.
Of course, yeah.
But it's the brain.
It's got to have a brain.
That's the real key.
Right.
So they've introduced Gemini Robotics
Okay.
and this AI model.
Yeah.
It's designed to really improve how robots understand and interact with the world,
Oh, wow.
the physical world around them.
Like being able to,
Move around,
move, respond to their environment.
manipulate objects, all of that.
It's like we're getting closer to
So more autonomous robots.
Yeah.
Robots that can adapt to new situations.
Yeah.
Do a wider range of tasks.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
And, it has a lot of applications in a lot of different industries.
I was going to say, like, this could be used in
Warehouses,
manufacturing,
homes even.
even in our home.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's a huge step towards, like, more,
Practical robots.
practical and versatile.
Exactly.
Robots. Okay, so we've talked about robots now. What about
Weather.
weather? Yeah, another real-world application.
Right. And there's been some really cool stuff happening with a company called
Aardvark Weather.
Aardvark Weather. What are they up to?
So they have a new AI system
Okay.
for weather prediction.
Okay.
And it has the potential to be way faster and way more energy efficient
Wow.
than those old, like, traditional
computers.
supercomputer methods.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They use raw weather data
Okay.
directly,
Wow.
and they can create predictions really quickly.
Wow.
And you don't need a supercomputer for it.
That's amazing. So what you're saying is they can do this on
On standard
your
computer.
desktop, potentially?
Potentially, yeah.
Wow.
It could really change things.
That could really change things.
Yeah.
Because weather prediction is so important for
Disaster preparedness,
agriculture,
travel, everything.
everything.
And if we can make it faster, more efficient,
More accurate, potentially.
more accurate,
That's huge.
and more accessible,
Exactly.
that's a game changer.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about chips, we've talked about investment, we've talked about consumer tech, we've talked about robots, we've talked about weather.
I think it's time to talk about policy.
Policy, right, because all of this stuff is moving so fast.
Right.
Governments are having to
Play catch up.
catch up, right?
Yeah.
Figure out how to regulate this. So what's going on in the UK?
The UK government is definitely thinking hard about this, how to handle all of these AI advancements.
Yeah.
So Chi Onwurah,
She's the head of the UK's Commons Technology Committee.
that's right.
Yeah.
And she has really stressed
Yeah.
how urgent it is
Yeah.
to pass this thing called the AI Safety Bill.
Okay.
This bill is basically,
Like a law.
it's a proposed law.
Yeah.
It's designed to, make sure that there's oversight
Okay.
by requiring these tech companies to submit their AI models for testing
Oh, wow.
to UK regulators.
So that the government can
Can look at them, make sure they're safe, make
Yeah.
sure they're not going to
do anything crazy.
do anything crazy.
Yeah.
It's a proactive step.
It is. It is.
It's definitely a balancing act, though.
Yeah.
You want to encourage innovation,
Yeah.
but you also have to make sure it's done responsibly.
Right. And that's a tough balance.
It's a very tough balance.
Right.
It's interesting
Yeah.
to see how different countries are approaching this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the government's response. But what about
Specific industries.
specific industries, right? Because AI is going to impact everything, every single industry. So
So let's talk about Comic Book UK.
Comic Book UK, what is that?
It's a trade association
Okay.
formed by UK comic book creators.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're concerned about
About AI.
AI.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically about,
Stealing their jobs.
well, kind of. So there are these potential changes in copyright law,
Okay.
and they're worried that AI companies might be able to use their content,
Oh,
like their comic book content.
their art, their stories.
Yeah, without permission.
Without paying them.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So they've come together,
To fight back.
yeah, to protect their work,
And to try to influence the law.
to lobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also want people to recognize the value of the UK comic book industry.
Right. Because that's a huge,
Huge
it's
industry.
creative industry.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's pretty amazing to me
it is.
that we've covered all of this in like the past
In 1 week.
week.
It's crazy.
It's wild how fast things are moving.
So just to recap,
Yeah, let's recap.
Nvidia, they've got their new chips, their new platform. They're partnering with General Motors. Tencent is investing a ton of money.
Yeah,
Apple's having some problems with Siri.
a little bit behind.
DeepMind, they're doing amazing things with robotics.
Pushing the boundaries.
Aardvark Weather, new weather prediction system.
Crazy new technology
And then in the UK, the government's trying to regulate all this.
with the AI safety bill.
And you've got comic book creators.
Fighting for their rights. Fighting for their rights. It's like,
It's a microcosm of everything that's happening.
yeah, it shows you how AI is impacting
Everything
every single aspect of
of our lives.
our world.
Yeah,
It's really incredible to see and a little bit scary, honestly,
I understand.
but also really exciting.
It is exciting.
It is exciting. So much potential.
So much potential.
So given all of this,
Yeah.
given how fast things are moving,
Yeah,
what do you think? What unexpected areas
that's a good question.
is AI going to impact in the next year?
Mm,
That's something for you to think about.
it is. It is.
So thank you for joining us today
It was my pleasure.
on this deep dive into the world of AI,
This crazy world of AI,
the ever-evolving
ever evolving, ever changing,
world of AI. And make sure to subscribe
to the AI funnel.
to the AI Funnel by Konstantina Giannopoulou
We'll be back next week with more
with more crazy AI news.
deep dives.
See you then.
See ya.